Good morning, friends. I forget to hit that timer countdown thingy-mabob. It's Thursday. It's 10 a.m. I've got my coffee. Hopefully, you have your coffee, your beverage, your tea, your Diet Coke, whatever beverage of choice you have. Hopefully, you all can hear me. It shows that my mic is working. So, anyhow, coffee and conversations. We've got Easter coming this weekend. Hopefully, you've used those invites that you got and invited a family member, friend, someone you know who you want to know and see Jesus for who he really is. Pray that you would have used it to invite someone. Don't forget that we have the brunch after the service, and that's A through G, A through A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. A through G. I had to run through the alphabet. A through G bring a main dish, meat or egg dish, and a fruit. And then H through Z bring main dish, meat, and pastry. So plan to stay and fellowship and participate with that after the service. If you can't bring something, that's okay. Still participate. If you forget to something, still stay and participate. But we want to make sure that we have plenty. And so plan to do that. And then just think as you're considering when you're coming in on Sunday morning, think about guests and what they might be thinking and what it's like walking into a brand new place you've never been to. So be extra welcoming. Save those preferred seats. It's funny, preferred seats at church are different than preferred seats at sporting events and concerts and the theater. Give space to those who might be coming late, who might not have been here before. Move forward, scoot in so people don't have to climb over you, because invariably, if you've never been somewhere before, you're more likely to be late. So be considerate and kind and thoughtful towards the guests that will be here. Be welcoming and greeting. I know you will be, but we want to just make sure that that's extra on our mind. When you have more guests, you want to be prepared for them. Just like if you're having guests to your house, depending on who it is, you're more likely to do certain things. You're more likely to clean up for certain people. So plan to be aware of them. And yeah. And then also, I did not write this down, but I'm going to do it right now. 6:30, Good Friday. 6:30 p.m. Friday evening. Come join us in there for our service that we're going to remember the Lord's death and all the things he went through leading up to his death. We won't stream that. We don't stream those peripheral services typically. We stream Sunday morning because if you're sick, we want you to stay home. We endeavor to make it good enough that you don't come if you're sick, but not so good that you enjoy it from your couch in your pajamas with your bacon. So come Friday, spend the evening with us thinking about all the things that Jesus went through for me, for us. We'd love for you to be here with us. And then Sunday morning, join us, invite someone, sit with them, welcome them in, meet them in the parking lot, and tell them about things, kind of explain it. Like if someone shows up at your house the first time, when they show up at your house, you're kind of like, oh yeah, if you need the bathroom, it's over there. If you need water, you are attentive to a new person visiting your space. And so we want to be attentive to those who are visiting this space for the first time. And then a couple other things. We have the sound editing project is still going on. It's still at work. We didn't do it this past weekend, but the guys are actually going to work on Saturday for it. So plan to help with that. We would love for your help as we're looking to complete this project. And then lastly, huge thank you for everyone who donated to the outreach clothing drive. I don't know how much we got, but it felt like it was a ton. And we will hopefully be able to give you an update of how many bags or whatnot, all that stuff. So thank you for donating and giving to that cause of just ministering to a need of someone that someone has. I was actually just talking recently with some people about how the Lord has been pressing in on me, my attitude towards the poor and my attitude towards those who I perceive as should have not found themselves in those situations. And yet the Lord is saying, John, where's your compassion? If I treated your spiritual condition the way that you treat their material position, where would you be? And the Lord has really been working on me in that. And even in the book of Proverbs, which I've been reading through, he talks about what if you neglect the poor, if you reject the poor, you have the same maker. So you're no better than them. So that's a way the Lord has been working in my heart. And so I'm glad to see that the Lord has put it on Caleb's heart and then even Sky's heart to minister to those who are in need, and we can help in tangible ways. So thank you for doing that. And we're going to keep you updated on how that went and any more opportunities going forward. Because, friends, it's a good thing to share the love of Christ with others. And it's a good thing to let your good deeds shine before others so that they may glorify your Father in heaven. Not so you get glory, not so you get credit, but so he gets credit. Okay, so what I've been thinking about with Easter is we're going to be turning our attention to the walk on the road to Emmaus from Jerusalem to Emmaus, the journey that two men take after Jesus' resurrection. And they go on this journey from disbelief to belief, from not seeing to seeing. It's a physical journey they take that also has spiritual ramifications. And friends, when we think about seeing Jesus, lots of people saw Jesus, but they didn't get him. Actually, no one fully got it. You think of Peter. He started out following Jesus. Andrew and Peter, and James and John, they followed Jesus from the beginning of Jesus's public ministry. They are with him the whole time. And when it comes to the end, they kind of don't get it. You think of Matthew, the tax collector, who's welcomed into ministry with Jesus. If anyone probably shouldn't have been welcomed into ministry with Jesus, it's Matthew. At least culturally, Matthew would have been considered on the outside. He wasn't in good standing culturally because he was a traitor. He was a tax collector, and he was a collaborator with the foreign powers. Matthew shouldn't have been welcomed in. And what happens? Jesus calls him while he's at his tax booth, while he's at work, and he abandons work and he goes and ministers with Jesus. And he actually invites all his friends to come and see Jesus. He throws a party for Jesus so his friends can meet him. Matthew is changed by his interaction with Jesus. And now he's not all the way there yet because he's still one of the 12 disciples, and he's kind of not sure after the resurrection. They all don't believe that Jesus is going to rise from the grave. They're all distraught. They need to see Jesus. You think of a guy like Zacchaeus, who was on the outside and wee little man, and he needed to see Jesus. And seeing Jesus changes his life. We think of Bartimaeus, who's a blind man on the side of the road, and he needs to see Jesus. We think of a variety of individuals who need to see Jesus. We all, each of us, have been on that journey somewhere along the way. We had to come to the point where we saw Jesus. We are on a perpetual, ongoing discovery of finding out who Jesus is. Now, there's a point where there's that inflection moment where we truly believe, and we kind of like Thomas are like, my Lord and my God. Thomas needed to see Jesus. Took Thomas actually seeing the hands pierced, it probably actually here. This holds better than this. So either Jesus was pierced here, and this is actually more painful, or he was pierced here, and then they had to tie it because the palm won't hold the weight of the body. That's why sometimes you'll see pictures with the Jesus's hands tied to the crossbeam. But Thomas needed to see them to believe. And Jesus says, blessed are those who believe without seeing. Thomas. We can't see Jesus physically anymore, but we can see Jesus in the stories of the apostles, in the gospels and his disciples. Friends, we want others we know that we love, that we care about, to see Jesus. That has to come with an invitation to experience him, to investigate him. It doesn't happen just naturally. It requires supernatural intervention. Now, sometimes the Lord uses something totally obscure and outside the norm to draw someone to himself. But normally, the normal means of God's grace of saving people is by one believer sharing with someone who doesn't know, a believer inviting someone to come and see. That's the normal means of God working. We know people that the Lord miraculously opened their eyes by having a situation happen in their life, and it made them turn to the Bible. Not the norm. The norm is that invitation, that exhortation, that encouragement to come and know the Lord. Who do you know that needs to know the Lord? Who do you know that you would love to see them come to faith, that the Lord would transform them as they see Jesus? Friends, we want to help those we love and care about and know to know him, because it's the only way we can be saved. It's the only name by which man can be saved. And in addition to that, when they are saved, they become a new creation. What a better gift could we give someone than helping them to encounter the one who will enable them to be a new creation, or cause them to be a new creation. He doesn't just enable it, he causes it. Think about those people. Who have you been praying for? Who have you been hoping that the Lord would be at work in their life? You know, as I think of my own spiritual journey, I was a tough cookie. I was not friendly towards the faith. I was not that individual that was like kind of low-hanging fruit. I was the one that was antagonistic. I mean, I never killed any Christians, but I identify with Paul's attitude towards Christians and Christianity in his early days before he became the Apostle Paul. When we know him primarily as Saul, that's his Jewish name, and then Paul is his Greek name. I identify with his antagonism and his disposition. He was a tough cookie to crack, and the Lord cracked that cookie. Is that the right phrase? I feel like that doesn't sound right, but anyhow, you get my point. Don't be afraid to reach out to and invite those who you feel like are the difficult ones, the ones who are not the like primed. Don't be afraid to invite them. Don't be afraid to invite those who might be far from God. Because you know what? The Lord can use that. The Lord can use many things to draw people to himself. And you can be a part of that. The Lord can use you to invite others to come and experience and see Jesus. As we look at the book of Acts, we see a variety of people coming to faith from different corners. Isn't like the right word, but I can't think of it. Like different categories. We see lame beggars healed and come to faith. We see priests from the Jewish system come to faith. We see Sadducees and Pharisees come to faith. We see the Apostle Paul come to faith. We see a Roman centurion named Cornelius come to faith. We see Jews and Gentiles, men and women, adults and children coming to faith. We see rich people and poor people. We see a variety of individuals coming to faith as they hear the good news. And we want to see that happen too. So that is on us though, too, right? Like the Lord's normal means of grace to causing people to come to salvation is through someone telling another person about it or inviting them to come and see. Friends, I hope that as we turn our attention towards Easter weekend, towards the resurrection with Good Friday, that you'll come and you will be enamored is probably the word that's coming to my mind the most, but that you would really take to heart all that Jesus went through and did to experience death for me, for us, and then that you'll come on Easter morning as we consider the resurrection and the spiritual journey that we all have to go on. None of us are born believing. We all need to go on the journey. We all need to encounter Jesus. No one is saved outside of encountering Christ spiritually. So friends, I hope that you will plan to come to both of those, and I hope that you'll invite someone. You can invite people to both, but most importantly, invite them to Easter morning so that they can come and see Jesus. All right, friends, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you Friday evening and then Sunday morning as we turn our attention to seeing Jesus.